Hello everyone. Today we're going to do an art project for parts of a plant. So first of all, we need some adult supervision. So if you're going to do this, please check with an adult and make sure it is the right time and a safe spot to do it. Because one important thing that we're going to be using for this are scissors. And we know that we need to have an adult nearby when we're using scissors. So first what we're going to do is we're going to have an adult draw a straight line on a piece of paper. So I just have a straight edge. You can use anything you have around the house to create a straight line. If you have a ruler, that's great. If you don't, then just finding a straight line is fine, a straight edge to make that straight line. Now, with our pre-K friends, we would like to have the line that you are creating to be as thick as possible so that it is easy for them to see when they cut it. So I used a Sharpie to create a thick line. You can use a marker. Pens and pencils are a little more difficult for them to see, so that's why we wanted to use the thick Sharpie or thick marker. All right, so once we have this line drawn, then there are a few different things we can do depending on your child. If your child is able to use scissors, then you're going to ask them to cut on that straight line. Okay. If your child's not able to cut yet, or they're beginning stages, then you can cut it for them. You can also practice using scissors with children that are not ready for scissors yet by doing some hand over hand motion. So you have them put their fingers in the scissors and then you put your hand on top of their fingers to help them open and shut the scissors. For those friends that are ready to cut, you're going to have them put their thumb in the little hole of the scissors and the rest of their fingers in the big hole. And then we have a little chant that we like to say when we cut at school. So it's open, shut, open, shut. That's the way we cut, cut, cut. Fingers on the bottom, thumb on the top. Do not let that paper drop. Open, shut, open, shut. That's the way we cut, cut, cut. So we're going to cut that whole thing. And that's going to be our stem. Now, as you see, I did not use green paper. I did not have any green paper at home, but I do have a green crayon. Now, something else that we work on at pre-K is the proper finger grasp when we are using writing utensils, whether that be crayons, markers, or pencils. We want to make sure they're developing that tripod grasp. So the best utensil to use when coloring are actually short and skinny crayons. So these big thick ones are okay for times that you're ready just to color, but if you're trying to practice and teach proper tripod grasp, then you really want to try to focus on using skinny and short crayons. Some kids freak out when they see these little broken crayons, but actually they're perfect for fine motor development because it forces them to make that tripod grasp so that they have to tuck away those two fingers. All right, so we're going to just do a quick color of our stem, make it green. We learned from our stories and from our sorting activity that stems are green. So we're just going to do that nice in color. You could also have your child color it before you cut it out. All right, there's that. Now, if your child's able to do that, that's great. If they're not, then just encourage them to do as much as they can. If they do a little bit of green on there, great. If you need to do hand over hand with them to really let them experience the use of coloring, that's great too. We have all different abilities and levels in our classroom, so that's why I'm trying to touch everybody in the video. So we have our nice straight stem. All right, so let's get our second piece of paper that we need to glue our stem on. Now, if you remember when we talked about our parts of a plant, we talked about the plants needing soil to grow. Our story back here, Fran's flower that we read, we knew that she needed soil in her pot for that plant to grow. So I used my brown crayon to create some soil. And then I'm going to continue to use my brown crayon with my 3-finger tripod grasp. Under the dirt, we're going to draw 1, 2, 3 straight lines for some roots. And then take your nice straight stem and you can glue it on. My stem is going to be too big for my paper. So I need to use my scissors again and do a little snip. Make sure I have room for my flower on the top. So I'm going to cut my stem. Now I have a straight stem. I'm going to use my glue stick, glue my stem on. There we go. I have a stem and roots. We also talked about the other part of the plant being a leaf. So you can use a green crayon to draw an oval shape for our leaf. Okay, and then our last step was the flower at the top. Now we have a couple different choices for that. You could have a grown-up trace some or draw a circle on here and you could cut out that circle. That's for my 4 and 5-year-olds. You guys can work on that to get ready for kindergarten. That's a great skill to do. So what it looks like is this. Take a crayon and just draw a big circle and then use your scissors to cut it out. All by yourself. Remember, you have to turn that paper as you cut that circle. Hold on to it. Perfect. There's our flower, and you can color it. Now, if we're not ready for that, if we're not ready to cut out our own circle, that's okay. We can use our crayons to practice drawing our circles. If you remember, back in the winter, we drew circles on our board as snowballs. After we read our snowy day book, we were drawing circles on our boards. That's exactly what you're going to do for your flower. So you're going to start at the top, go around, and stop. There's the middle of our circle. Now, most flowers have what's called petals, and they stick out of the inside of our circle. So we're going to use, I'm going to change my color choice so you guys can see it. I'm going to make blue. I'm going to take blue, and I'm going to draw straight lines out of my circle to be petals. There are my petals for my flower. If you want to make a fancy flower, and if your family has these in their cabinet, this is a cupcake liner. You could glue that into the middle. Kind of adds a fun middle to our flower. That could be a little seed spot. If you wanted to draw seeds inside your flower too, you could do that with maybe black. Draw little dots inside to make it like seeds. There is our flower. We have our roots on the bottom, then a straight stem, a leaf, and the flower with our blooms, with our petals. I would love to see pictures of your completed flower once you are done with this art project. Please take a picture and text it to me on the Remind app. Have a great day. See you soon. Bye.